Lansing and the never-ending road funding debate and trying to sell lawmakers on the governor's plan for Detroit public schools. It's all going to take a lot of money. So let's start. I want to start with DPS because we haven't had a chance to really talk since the governor's plan has launched. And now it's been out there for a little over a week now, Nolan. And there was some testimony going on in Lansing this week talking about that DPS is going to be insolvent by spring if they don't start to take some kind of steps. What are you hearing?
Well, who are the champions for the governor's proposal? That's what I'm trying to get at. Who is with him and pushing this? I don't see a whole lot of support.
He says that there's legislative support.
He says that, but I haven't
seen named anybody.
And you're asking for about $70 million a year, $75 million a year or more to be pulled out of the school aid fund. You're asking every other district then in the state to contribute. I think the money will be in the school aid fund. The school aid fund, as the economy recovers, has been getting stronger.
And that's what the governor's argument is. He's saying it's there. It's not going to be taking from anyone else. It's that it's going to be there on top.
And that's how it's going to be perceived. And you've got to build a better case in the legislature that this is the right thing to do. One, that this debt belongs to you, and two, the state as a whole will be better off with this investment. I'm not sure he can get the legislature to do this. I mean, he hasn't been able to move them where he needs to move them on roads, and I think this is a much, much tougher sell.
But when you hear testimony saying, "Look, we're going to be out of money by the spring," I mean, how can people maybe not act?
Well, I don't think they have a choice about acting. Number one, because of that. Number two, because the debt that he's asking them to take care of is the state's responsibility anyway. I mean, if you don't pay it now, you're going to pay it later, and it's going to take a heck of a lot more out of the school aid fund than what you're talking about. Again, I think that politically, though, you have got to start talking about what other districts might be able to do to solve their own problems through similar mechanisms. I mean, the DPS is not the only district that has the problems that they're talking about. What's driving the insolvency there is driving financial strain everywhere. The governor keeps saying that's a long-term conversation that we can have someday, but he's in the fifth term of his administration, hadn't brought it up yet. I mean, what's the point at which we start dealing with this at the root of the problem instead of sort of picking off branches?
All right, so if they can't get DPS done, can they get roads done? Because that's the other thing that's been going on this week.
They'll get some sort of roads deal done. I don't think it'll be the deal that it should be. It won't be.
What do you think it's going to end up being then?
Well,
what, 600 million from the general fund?
600 and 600, and they're going to use all sorts of accounting gimmicks to make that 600 million out of the general fund look like it's not really coming from anywhere. They're counting on growth. Maybe we'll have growth. Maybe we'll have a recession next year. I mean, who knows? But the truth is, it's a long time coming. This thing stretches out 5-6 years before it starts delivering the full money. So you're asking people to pay somewhat higher taxes and fees on the promise that they're going to get the roads fixed, and there's not enough immediate money here to show them a difference. They're going to have to, you're talking 4 or 5 years before they start seeing significant difference in their roads. I think it's a tough situation.
All right, so you think
it's one of the more cowardly acts I've seen. I mean, the House deal. I had a conversation with Speaker Cotter where I asked him, where are you going to get the $600 million? He said, growth. He said, our projections say we're going to get more money. I said, when's the last time a projection about more money actually came true? He said, never in recent memory. Well, right there,
I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get any kind of road deal unless the governor starts busting some kneecaps. He needs to today start calling lawmakers in and saying, look, you want another bill signed by me, you're going to vote for my road plan. You want, in next year's budget, where the deliberation is going to start very soon, you want this project for your district, that project for your district. You're not getting it. I'm not facing voters, you are. You're not getting any of this stuff unless I get what I want on the roads, and he hasn't done that.
Have we seen him do that with anything?
No.
Well,
and that's why we're not getting a deal.
Well, yep. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.